It's time to recap a timeless classic. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to tell you a great story of how cinema changed forever in 1975. Enter Jaws, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. This film can only be described with one word: terrifying, but also well crafted. It's not just a classic movie to watch, but also a very exciting action thriller movie that only gets better as you progress in the film's plot. It also kickstarted the career of Steven Spielberg, who would inspire many more filmmakers after this film's release. When I first watched this movie, I was astounded on just how well this movie aged. This is my movie review on Jaws. We will recap everything that made this movie in a league of its own and how it transformed cinema permanently. Before we start this video, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon to see more content. Thank you, and enjoy. To start with, the main reason why this movie left an impact on filmmaking forever is that it was crafted by a legendary film director, Steven Spielberg. It was just the beginning of a bright future for this acclaimed director. Spielberg used special effects to the supreme, crafting a sense of terror throughout the movie. And that's how Jaws was created. Simple, but extremely effective, with a very sufficient bite. Adding to Steven Spielberg's bright career, another reason why this movie is so memorable today is that it also saw the beginning of a timeless music composer, John Williams. The main title from the score is one of the most iconic theme songs in film history. It begins with this slow approach as if the shark is approaching someone in the water to fit into the film's normal tone, and then it translates into an intense, fast movement as if the shark is attacking its prey in the water, and ends with it all going quiet after leaving nothing but a trail of blood behind. The score is both suspenseful and themed at the same time. Something that needs to be pointed out here is just how terrifying the shark really was for its time. The animatronics were so realistic that it horrified many audience members back then. While it's true you don't see him that often, it's actually a good thing because it makes him more scary and intimidating. The way the film shows this is clever, making the shark being out there somewhere we don't know, and the way the shark suddenly jumps into action during the water segments, leaving nothing but a trail of blood behind, is next level of greatness. The cast in this movie was also very entertaining. For its time, the characters had some great development throughout the whole story. Roy Scheider is of course fantastic as Martin Brody, who only gets better the more you watch. Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss are also great co-stars as both Quint and Matt Huber respectively. With great combination of these three characters' chemistry, it makes some of the film's climaxes great. And let's not also forget the iconic line, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." A quote that has been referenced a lot in movies and TV shows, and is also misheard as, "We're gonna need a bigger boat." Jaws is also very clever at making its whole setting feel very terrifying. It takes place on Admiti Island, a place known for its happy environment. With lots of people around in the ocean, that's when the shark comes in and breaks havoc as it starts catching people underwater. It kind of adds to the fact that Admiti Island is one of the nicest looking places to be at, and the happy environment only goes down when a shark comes to attack. It only makes a scary movie even scarier. The film's cinematography is also another shout out, and that's mixed together with the film's pacing, removing unnecessary cuts, and having the scenes unfold all together, building the tension for this movie as it goes on. A generic blockbuster to a suspenseful masterpiece. In fact, the cinematography carries this movie from being an original blockbuster to a timeless masterpiece. Elevating in the scenes where the shark is seen throughout the plot, it keeps you on your toes each scene. Finally, this movie popularized not only the blockbuster genre, but also the entire killer animal genre. It would also inspire many other filmmakers, and even plenty of other movies like this. It's a shame that shark thrillers these days are nothing compared to Jaws. Instead of them feeling inspired from this movie, they just copy and paste the same elements and add a much slower pace with cheesy effects. That's also counting for this movie's 3 sequels, which should never have been made. This should have been the only movie in the series without any sort of future continuation. Overall, my final opinion on Jaws? To this day, it's still a classic movie, and up there as one of my favourite movies of all time. Jaws is a movie that is a must-watch for any viewer that's a hardcore fan of thriller movies. It's beautifully crafted, it's directed masterfully, it's got the gore, it has the story and elements that make it entertaining to watch, the music is just as suspenseful today, and it has aged remarkably well. This definitely got me into watching even more movies similar to this. And that's why Jaws will always stand as one of my absolute favourites. It has everything that a movie should have. If you haven't seen it yet, go and give it a watch. It's 100% worth your time. Even after many years later, Jaws still is, and always will be, a classic. What is your opinion on Jaws? Would you also think that this is still a masterpiece? How much of an impact did it really leave on filmmaking? And what is your favourite blockbuster? Let me know in the comment section below, and also don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel if you are new, and hit that bell icon to see more content on my channel. Thanks for watching. Steven Spielberg's Jaws is still a masterpiece in blockbuster filmmaking. With a griping story, a sheer sense of dread, and some iconic moments in cinema history, it's no wonder why it's still practically unmatched.